America was founded to allow degeneracy.
No, it wasn't founded to allow degeneracy.
You don't have reason, you don't have logic, you don't have anything.
Well, I just logically destroyed you, so. It's usually a shitty kid who says that to their parents who do love them and want to correct them, and the kid goes, "Nah, I don't want to be corrected. I want to go put the pee-pee in the poo-poo, Dad." The transing the kids, everything you could possibly do to make it easy for guys like me to come in and be like, no more of that shit.
I find this like incontrollable. I don't even understand.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In this video, we are going to be watching the latest installment of Andrew Wilson versus 5 on Modern Day Debate. The topic for this one is very interesting. Do we need Christian nationalism to stop degeneracy? Now, guys, if you enjoy these debates and if you want to come and see us debate live, myself, Andrew, Rachel, Jim Bob, and others in Nashville, November 15th, don't forget to come along to DebateCon. We've also got an epic after party lined up for anybody who gets a ticket. You do not want to miss it. So anyways, we've got some different debaters on this one. Let's see if they can put up a fight.
My name is Andrew Wilson, host of The Crucible, and today we're debating Christian nationalism and how Trump treats the left. And also, there's not a lot of bald atheists here, and I was going to use my normal intimidation tactic against them, but that apparently isn't going to work today. By my definition, what Christian nationalism is the advocacy for a stable society based on unchanging standards. I think that secularists and atheists and progressives, the only thing they ever do to advocate any type of change forward is to just sprinkle degeneracy on it. So there's an open wound in the country. They want to sprinkle degeneracy on the wound. That's it. That's the only thing that they ever say. I think I'll demonstrate that today. My first prompt is we need Christian nationalism in order to stop degeneracy inside of the United States.
All right. It was nice to meet you.
You too.
So I guess my first question would be, what does this look like? Because I've heard you before say that you basically think that Christian nationalism should just be kind of like a cultural force, and then not necessarily like anything through government, although that's kind of downstream. Is that fair?
Yeah, so I think that government is downstream from culture, and culture is downstream from theology. So I think that every worldview has dogmas. Mm-hmm. And since every worldview has dogmas, I want the dogmas which I believe to win out in the worldview war. But I have no problem with the legislation morality through Christianity. Zero.
Okay. But it's your Christianity, right? It's not broadly Christianity,
well,
right?
Is it your secularism or is it everybody's secularism? The thing that's so funny about this criticism is that it's really stupid. So secularists can't agree on anything. Democrats don't agree. Secularists, Democrats don't agree with secularists, Republicans, right? Secularists in general don't agree with each other. What's really funny about Christianity, though, is on core issues, they tend to agree because they have an unchanging standard.
Okay, so what Andrew said here is just absolutely true. Any criticism of Christian governance that relies on disunity falls flat on its face. Because if disunity is your measurement, then secularism collapses on its own sword. Just look at the communists, for example. Do you agree with them, secularists? Or how about the pro-life atheists? Those exist. Or the libertarian materialists. Secular ideology actually doesn't really have a unifying framework, and it's more morally and philosophically fractured than Christianity has ever been and will ever be. So if the argument is that Christians can't govern because they disagree on doctrine, then the same logic would make secular governance completely impossible. And this right here is the great lie. The great cover-up of the secularists who would try and masquerade as reasoned and objective. But you know what else has been covered up, guys? You guessed it. The insane health benefits of cocoa flavonols. The compounds found in cocoa that boost nitric oxide, improve your heart health, and regenerate brain cells. Now, before you roll your eyes as if you've just flicked through the heavily redacted Epstein files, this isn't some woo-woo nonsense. Let me show you. Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee backs this up. Check it out.
So, studies have been done to show that the flavonols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees in a beehive in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If your skin, they'll fix it. And so we can eat foods like high flavanol cocoa in order to be able to actually get the stem cells to work a little bit better. Now, how do we know this actually functions, works in people? Well, clinical studies have been done with high flavanol cocoa to show that in like men who are in their 60s with heart disease, they could actually just have 2 cups of dark chocolate hot cocoa a day for a month. Yeah. And they doubled the amount of stem cells in their bloodstream, and their circulation improved measurably. And then what's even more important and impressive is that there was a study called the Cosmos study that was completed recently that showed that eating high flavanol cocoa decreases the risk of cardiovascular death right over a period of time. Like I said, exactly. It's made by eating the same thing that you use to make chocolate. So we're not telling people to go out to have chocolate, which is a confection. There's a lot of sugar and all kinds of other stuff in it. But it's the stuff underlying it, the core of it.
So dark chocolate, it literally improves blood flow to the brain, protects your heart, and can even help regenerate stem cells. The catch? You have to eat a whole block of chocolate to get these benefits. But obviously, and unfortunately, the sugar will cancel it all out. This is why you need high flavanol cocoa, which is impossible to find in regular stores. And this is why I use Black Forest supplements. They've isolated the exact cocoa flavanols used in the clinical studies, and they've packed it into an easy daily scoop. I enjoy it in my coffee or my protein shake. Either way is great. And here's the best part. For the next 48 hours, they are running a buy one, get one free exclusively for my viewers. So if you would like to optimize your health, go to blackforestsupplements.com/Jake. That is blackforestsupplements.com/Jake. And grab yours before the deal ends. Let's get back to it.
So, talking about like groups of people and how that works and integrates into government, you realize that Christians are they're disproportionate in Congress, right? So are you happy about that? Do you think it's bad, or do you disagree with those Christians?
I think that what has happened is that the First Amendment has been reinterpreted incorrectly. It was supposed to state that at the national level, you couldn't have the government institute a single religion. Of course, all the states had their own religions. Okay?
Oh, some did.
No, all of them did.
No,
I think there was only
all of them. There was
which
about
ones
two.
Didn't? Oh, two?
Georgia, I know did.
Yeah.
Georgia for sure had Protestant.
Yeah,
which you disagree with,
they
right?
They all had to one degree.
Not
or
in their
another.
original constitutions from like 1776 to
Yeah.
1778.
So you're saying that there was one or two that didn't, but the rest of them did.
No, I said there was one or two that did. The rest of them didn't.
You're wrong. That's incorrect.
That's not incorrect.
It
I
is
know for a fact
incorrect.
Georgia did.
Most of them did. Most of
No.
them. Yes, they did. They had state religions. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't
Yes,
have a state
they
religion.
did. I'll tell you what. Why don't we stop the debate? I'll bet you $100 that I'm right.
$100 that you're right. Well, what are you going to define as state religion by saying that?
What? That
Does
the
it have to say? Does it have to say?
Yes,
state,
that the state endorses X religion. Yes.
that this is the state religion.
Do you think, for instance, that if
That's
you,
only Georgia.
Yeah. Do you think that, for instance, if there was a restriction for voting, that you had to be a member of this religion in order to vote, that would be a state endorsed religion?
None of them had those types. None of the state constitutions had that.
Really? So there were states where there was no requirement. So you're saying
There were requirements to hold office.
And were some of those requirements to hold office or to vote? That you had to be a
voting
Christian?
was kind of all over the
That you had
place.
to be a Christian?
You had to be a Christian.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking back through all the state constitutions that I read. I know Georgia was the most strict because they explicitly did say that the Protestant religion is the state religion, but they were the only one that did that. I think two others said, maybe three others said that you had to be Protestant to hold office.
Specifically, specific denominations, by the way.
Yeah, Protestant.
Not just Protestant, specific denominations. Like there was some states that didn't even want you there if you were a Catholic, right?
Yeah, like John Jay actually advocated for that in
so
New York.
the thing is,
but that didn't work itself into the New York State
I
Constitution.
agree, but I'm just pointing this out, right? That yes, they were very strict when it came to religious adherence, including in the original states. After we got through the Articles of Confederation, so the thing is like, no, man.
How many states rewrote their constitution?
I disagree. Huh?
I'm not aware of many states that rewrote their state constitutions after the Constitution itself was ratified. Most of them were written in because most of the state constitutions were initially written in 1776, 1778.
Yeah, okay.
Which is when the articles were written.
This, so what? What's the point here? You're saying that Congress already has Christians that are in it? And that's the majority of Congress?
And according to you,
do you think that Democrats
their policies are downstream from their theology?
Yeah.
But you don't agree with necessarily all of the.
Was Barack Obama a Christian?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
What made him one?
He went to church. He identified as a Christian.
Okay, so it's just a matter of self-ID.
I mean, I don't know how else you could do it. We don't have brain machines to test.
We don't need it.
We don't know. I don't know if you're a real Christian.
How does the Bible say that we're supposed to identify Christians?
The Bible? By their fruits?
By their fruits. By their fruits. Was Obama's fruits Christian fruits?
Yeah, I think so. I think he tried to help people out.
Give me the best Christian policy that Obama had.
That Obama had? Christian policy.
Yeah.
See, I don't think necessarily that he governed as a Christian.
Right. So what the Christian nationalism is advocating is that it's okay for you to govern as a Christian. It's fine.
So he was indeed wrong, and it was a good choice not to take the bet there. Only 4 states had no official religion: Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, and Rhode Island. And Rhode Island was the only one that had neither a religious qualification for office nor a state religion. Now, it's true that Christians do dominate Congress, technically, but how many of them are actually there representing as Christians? I mean, you get a lot of Christians who are Democratic representatives who will support all kinds of egregious abortion bills, for example. So if they're not governing with Christian principles, then their faith really doesn't mean much in the realm of politics. So yeah, let's watch the next doll.
So I would challenge you on the fact that the founding fathers, while they may have been religious, didn't have any specific religion in mind when they built this country. So
what does that have to do with the prompt? The prompt is that Christian nationalism is necessary to stop degeneracy. Do you have an argument against that?
Well, I would argue that what you want would foundationally change the essence of America and its principles that it was founded on, so much so that you would no longer recognize it as the America we see
was
today.
porn ever illegal in America?
Maybe at certain points, but...
You mean throughout most of American history?
Possibly, but I feel like regardless of that...
I feel like regardless of that, you should answer to the prompt. And the prompt is whether or not Christian nationalism is an antidote to degeneracy, not the foundational claim of whether or not you think the foundations of America aren't supposed to allow the church and state to have a synergistic relationship.
Whether or not it was...
Could Christian nationalism stop degeneracy or not?
That's not theoretically, maybe, I don't know, but the point is America was founded. America was founded to allow degeneracy. The whole point was for people to come here and express freedom.
No, it wasn't founded to allow degeneracy. What did they used to do to homosexuals in the United States?
They did bad things.
Oh, so I thought it was founded for the homosexual to be able to put the pee-pee in the poo-poo.
Well, the point is to establish an official Christian religion was against all of the founding fathers' intentions.
Nobody's asking you to establish an official Christian religion. That wasn't ever in anything I said, even in the opening, that there needed to be an official religion. First of all, we have the 10th Amendment. States themselves can establish religious orders if they want to. That was always designed to be that way, by the way. That aside, what the does that have to do with whether or not Christian nationalism is an antidote to degeneracy? If you want to argue about foundational principles, we can do that later in the debate. I have prompts for that too. But how about we start with this one? What are progressives going to do about degeneracy in the nation besides fucking nothing?
Well, first, we think we need to at least get a base understanding of degeneracy. Would you just say all homosexuals in general are degenerate?
Yes, they're all sexually immoral. That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
So if you're trying to get, are you just trying to get rid of gays? Are you trying to get rid of...
We would just start with gay marriage.
Okay, so you want to eliminate gay marriage entirely?
Yes, correct, yes.
Okay, so you're saying that because someone is gay, they can't have any kind of progress or any kind of use in society?
How's that progress?
Well, I mean, gay people, I mean, you had Alan Turing, he created the Turing machine, so, you know...
What does that have to do with him getting married?
Well, if he feels that he is not wanted in society or people are, like, forced to basically... hide themselves or leave society because of how they
that
be
machine
perceived.
When there was oppressive laws against homosexuals?
Yes, but
argument negated then.
Well, do you think he could have been, you know, a more successful individual had he felt free and open to express his ideas?
How would he have been more successful?
Because he has the ability to just truly be himself and try to self-actualize.
And yet it didn't stop him from doing exactly the same thing that you say he couldn't do if he was oppressed. That's really strange, man.
But he could have done it better.
Oh, he could have. Prove it.
I can't prove it.
Of course you
officially,
can't.
But the thing is,
the silliest
the
thing
whole
ever.
point, we want people to be able to actualize, you know, what they want to do. We want people to be able to self-actualize for whatever they want to decide.
Should 18-year-olds do porn on OnlyFans? They're self-actualizing, bro.
If they want to, fine.
Yeah, of course.
What's
the antidote to degeneracy besides more degeneracy from your view? Give me one. Just give me one antidote for any degeneracy in society. One. Just one from your view.
I feel like I disagree with the idea that just those things are degenerate in the first place.
You have nothing. So prostitution, not degenerate, right?
I mean, it might be, but it doesn't matter.
Is it or isn't it?
Sure, you could say it's degeneracy.
Okay, what are you going to do about it? What has the secular mind gotten in order to take care of prostitution, bro?
If anything, I would just advocate for a form of harm reduction to where that people are able to participate in a way that allows them to do it in a way where they're not hurting themselves or others, or try to just reduce any kind of dangers from it. But
so
in the meantime,
the neighbor's 18-year-old daughter's fine for her to get fucked by 20 guys as long as they're wearing condoms.
I mean, if that's what she wants to do, the whole point of
sprinkle some degeneracy on it.
America was founded to allow degeneracy. Hey, I'm sure that's exactly what the forefathers had in mind when they talked about a moral and religious people. Absolutely brain dead take. America for the longest time had blasphemy laws and Sabbath laws. And this guy's whole entire argument is literally just degeneracy okay or degeneracy good. Just that there really is no good and bad. It's just do what you want all the time with no consequences. But unfortunately, he actually doesn't really know how to engage with the prompt here, and this is the problem. I mean, America was founded for many reasons and on many principles, some of them very revolutionary and visionary at the time, but none of them were to protect degeneracy. And if it was, then the country would have absolutely died in the crib. So anyways, let's move on.
So how are you what is your metric for degeneracy and it's leading to
Well, to start
negatives
with,
in society?
so we would start with sexual immorality, right? Do you know that just a short 100 years ago, it was somewhere around 90 to 95% of women got married as virgins? What do you think the rate is now?
I'm not sure.
And what do you think the correlation is between a woman who gets married as a virgin and what she self-reports as happiness compared to women who don't? Do you think it's higher or lower?
It depends.
No, it doesn't depend. It's higher. It's almost universally higher, especially in religious organizations where they get married as virgins.
Well, I was about to say there's a lot of other correlative factors.
That's right. There
so
is.
So if you're in a religious organization, generally religion correlates with social cohesion and things like that. But the problem is,
so what's the big secular plan here, bro?
But here's the thing: if you, I forgot the name of the study. It was done a little while back, but basically, they looked at individuals who had high reported subjective well-being, and they found that when you have enough social support and safety nets, any kind of benefits from religion in terms of subjective well-being are essentially fade away.
Let's put this in practice. Can you answer me a question?
Sure.
If it was the case that I could demonstrate for you that women who got married as virgins not only reported that their happiness levels were higher than women who didn't, but that their marriages almost always stayed together, right? Compared to almost every other demographic in society, they didn't really get divorced very often, right?
Well,
what would be your claim there? Why would you think that would be?
I'm not sure. I would imagine that it's other causative factors, tangential, maybe some kind of social pressure to stay in a marriage. There's very
so they don't know what they're experiencing.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying,
what?
many religious organizations shun you if you get a divorce. It's a big problem.
So you're saying that Christian organizations can apply significant social pressure in order to keep marriages together, while
I think that's wrong,
while the people report that they're happier than the people who don't have those social pressures. That's crazy.
Okay. Well, I feel like you're conflating several different things together.
Really?
So when you look at subjective well-being, religion, when you start to remove things like social cohesion and things like that, when you start to
you mean the things that are the pinnacles to the religion?
Well, that's part of it, but I would say that
it's not part of it.
Other
Fellowship is
those
the
things
part
can
of it.
be supplanted by just better society, more government support.
Those things can be supplanted by a better society. What the hell does that mean?
When you have
what does
support,
that mean?
when you have a social network, when you have
where are the secularist social networks for virgin women who want to get married? Nowhere.
Well, it doesn't have to be. It's just for people in general. Obviously, we would still need to build it.
What are the secularists offering as far as community for people? Nothing.
They're trying to build something. Obviously, there's still lots of
what are they trying to build?
They're trying there's different secular groups you can join in terms of this kind of debate. This is kind of like a secular thing. You could just join very social clubs and things like that.
They're offering debate club?
I mean, I don't know, but the point
nothing.
is...
They're not offering... Listen, they're offering fucking nothing. The reason that those social pressures work so well is because they're actually applying social pressure. And the people who are operating within those confines actually are happier. They're happier than any of you secularists with your stupid groups.
Wow. I mean, this guy really denies the correlation between virginity and a successful marriage. And then when he brings up the correlated factors here, he doesn't realize that all of these factors are literally a product of Christian communities. Meaning, of course, that the good outcomes here can be attributed to Christianity even more. But guys, a better society can supplant religion. Just absolute ignoramus talk. But I do have a theory about this, guys, and I think the theory is that men like this want women to act as dumb and promiscuous as possible because that's the only way that a dullard like him can get his pee-pee touched. And they don't actually realize that women might say that they want that, especially liberal women. But really what they want is something else. You know how women do that thing where they want you to just read their mind and know what they want? Well, they like men who have boundaries and who stand for something. And they like men who can say no and who can defend their worldview. And unfortunately, guys like this useful idiots. But on to the next guy who spends the first 5 minutes basically just filibustering Andrew about divorce and marriage. So I'll spare you guys that whole entire portion and we'll skip to the end part.
I'll do this a different way.
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
just grant it. I'll
Sure.
just grant that your interpretation here is correct.
So no
as you
divorce,
prattle it
no
off.
remarriage.
Yeah, let's just grant it for
Sure.
a second. Is Christian nationalism advocating for that?
Yours is, clearly.
Show me.
Oh, you just said it right here because
didn't.
you said it wasn't in the purview of Christian nationalism to do that.
I said, this is what I said. Roman Catholics say you can't get divorced. That's what I actually said, right?
That's one of the things you said.
No, that's the only thing I said.
No, that's not.
Yeah. When did I say that Christian nationalism says that you're not allowed to get divorced, even under specific circumstance of adultery? Can you tell me when I said that, sir?
Well, when you incorporated Christian into anything, you incorporate the Bible into anything.
I'm not incorporating your interpretation of shit. And
for-
not only that,
2 Peter
I have
1:21 says it's not open to
That's great.
interpretation,
I have
sir.
2,000 years of church history behind me. And
Then
not
why
only
don't
that-
you agree with church
not only
fathers on
that,
divorce and remarriage?
I do.
No, you
And
don't.
we have
No, you
modern
don't.
church
You don't agree
fathers.
with
What are
St.
you
Augustine.
talking about?
Read him on adulterous marriages then.
What?
Read him. You didn't read him.
Let me just ask you again, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even if I grant all of this, currently, what Christian nationalists are advocating that if there was adultery, you couldn't get divorced? Name one.
That's not my point at all. But
Then what does it have to do with the prompt?
It has to do with you say Christian.
It has to do with
you-
my interpretation
you-
of the Bible. So therefore nothing.
My interpretation.
Your interpretation.
Are you kidding? Are you?
Yes.
So the Catholic.
No,
so
I'm
the
not
Catholic
kidding.
Church. Sorry, the Catholic Church did not say you can remarry after divorce. I'm sorry.
Does the Catholic Church grant annulments?
Annulments aren't in the Bible, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, but do they grant annulments?
Yeah, but that's a fiction.
Okay, but
Annulments are a
do they
scam.
grant it, though?
Annulments are a scam.
So is there any
not in the
Christian
Bible.
nationalist saying
Show
that if
me an
there's
annulment in the
adultery,
Bible.
you can't get divorced?
Show me an annulment in the Bible.
Why would it? Listen, even if everything I believed about the Bible was totally incorrect and everything you believed was totally correct, right
Okay.
now the debate is about whether or not Christian nationalism, the advocation of Christian nationalism, can do something about degeneracy in society,
Yeah.
especially within the social order. And thus, you can name for me a single Christian nationalist who's advocating that even under terms of adultery can't get divorced. Your argument's totally irrelevant,
The problem
and it's
is
an
you're
argument
using
about
Christian
church
the same way
history.
the left used the word woman. You can just mean whatever you want anytime you want. Christian this, Christian
Well,
that.
so could secularists.
Christian
I'm a secular humanist. I'm a secular not humanist. I'm a
Except-
secular vegan. You can
except
make up
that-
whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, except I'm not secular, so you're not dealing with that right now. So
What,
you have to,
what are
you?
you?
Have to, you have to go to the next.
What
I'm
are
a
you?
Christian. I'm a Christian.
What form of Christian under Christian nationalism are you advocating for no divorce?
Christian nationalism actually isn't in the Bible. You know, it's in
Are you going to
1928.
answer my
the Great
question?
Commission.
Answer my question.
I don't think Christian
Answer-
nationalism is a meaningful
Then why
term.
am I contending with you about Christian nationalism?
Because it's
you're
a
obviously not even advocating for it, bro. What are you talking
Well,
about?
how do I advocate for something called Christian that's not in the Bible?
Okay.
It doesn't make any
Yeah, yeah.
sense.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to take your personal interpretation of these things over my church's interpretation or the 2,000 years of history behind it from whatever crazy denomination you're from. And on top of that, you're not even advocating for any of this, so it's irrelevant. And on top of that, even if I granted the entirety of your argument, you need to show me a single person who's in the mainstream anywhere advocating for Christian nationalism that says you couldn't get divorced under the grounds of adultery.
Actually,
Just
I don't
one.
need to show you that at all.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't- I don't
exactly,
need to
'cause you
show
have no
that at all.
argument. Now
Because
tell
I
me.
can show you the Bible.
Now let's
once
try
you
this.
incorporate the word Christian,
Yeah.
you
Now
immediately
tell
bring
me.
the Bible to the table,
Tell me
and
this.
it's over.
Tell me this.
Yeah.
Is there any prescription against that you can think of from a secular angle that would actually address degeneracy in society or
Secularism
not?
has no angles.
Yeah, so nothing.
Yeah, I'm not secularist.
Nothing. So what? So is Christian nationalism uniquely positioned to do something about degeneracy in
Christian
society?
nationalism doesn't have anything to draw from because it's not a biblical concept.
Oh my God. Can they do something about degeneracy in society, even if it's fake?
Well, tell me a policy that you can pull from the Bible that you can call Christian national.
Okay, let's say that they made a justification that was in the Bible that was fake. Let's just say it was fake. They were wrong.
Why-
they were.
why would they
let's
work with
just
a
say
fake prompt?
from their own view, they were just totally incorrect about whatever the policy was that they were drawing from the Bible. But if they did draw it from the Bible, even though it wasn't correct, and then they applied it to OnlyFans and outlawed it, would they be doing something about degeneracy or not?
Doing something about degeneracy. You
Answer
okay.
the question.
Okay.
Would they or not?
It's such a convoluted, weird
Yes
question.
or no?
If you made up a rule and then you put it into law,
Uh-huh.
can you call it Christian nationalism?
Yeah, would it do something
That
about
doesn't
degeneracy?
make any sense. I don't even know how to make
Answer the
sense.
fucking question.
It's an incoherent question.
What's incoherent about it?
If I make up something,
You
call it
just
Christian
steelmanned it.
nationalism.
How can you steelman it and then still not answer it?
I don't understand what you're saying.
You don't understand what I'm saying.
I do not understand what
So
you're saying.
let's say that I pull up a biblical passage, totally misinterpret it compared to whatever your view is, then apply it as a matter of a law against some degenerate act that was going on, which curtailed the degenerate act. Would that do something about the degenerate act or not? Yes or no?
Sure, but you can't call it Christian if it's made up.
Yes, you can't call it Christian. You can't call it Christian because you have your own unique interpretation where you can't get
Read
married
Clement
under
of
adultery.
Alexandria and read Augustine of Hippo on divorce through marriage. And you'll find that you don't have the church fathers, you don't have the Bible, you don't have reason, you don't have logic, you don't have anything.
Well, I just logically destroyed you, so
Hardly.
it wasn't even hard.
Yeah, read Clement of Alexandria.
Yeah, I know.
Read Augustine.
But can
There's
we
a book called Divorce
Can
Through
you do
Remarriage by Chris
anything about
Iverson, by the way.
degeneracy absent right now in the political arena? Can secularists do anything about degeneracy or not?
Oh, secularists can do nothing.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So his whole argument here is basically dumb. The prompt is about whether or not Christian nationalism can stop degeneracy. It's not about what the Christian nationalist position on marriage should be according to the Bible. Christian nationalism is definitely not pro-divorce. It sure beats secularism in that regard. Furthermore, is Christian nationalism in the Bible? No. And nationalism as a word was only coined in the 18th century. So if you find this in your Bible, then check your translation. The question is if the Bible supports ruling as a Christian. And in this sense, it would be making Christian laws or laws based upon Christian ethics or ruling with Christian morality. And he doesn't even address that part. But at the end there, he really destroys his own argument when he says that secularism can do nothing. So yeah, I mean, that was the whole point. If only there was more time there for Andrew to ask him what he would have done instead. So anyways, let's get on to the last bit and watch Andrew absolutely dog walk overly emotional Timu Jack Black.
Thanks for stopping over those people. You know I'm recording.
One of the values of your Christian beliefs is the importance of marriage and the family unit, right? And keeping families together and supportive of each other. And I think that's in direct contradiction to gay marriage and being accepting of your gay children.
Good.
And yeah, I understand that is led to the destruction of a lot of families when parents do not accept their children and their lifestyle choices. And I think this turns people away from Christianity. And I don't think Christian nationalism will work.
Yeah, I think the opposite.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I think that what's happened instead is the opposite of that. That what happens is because the culture is so accommodating towards homosexuality, it's become a trend lifestyle for people claiming that they're homosexuals who aren't even homosexuals. It's a form of currency and credit for victimhood.
Do you agree?
Hang on, I'll make my
Sure.
point and then I'll let you respond. I think that the opposite is what's going on, that the idea that this is something which at the government level from the top down is celebrated and you're told you're a bad person if you even tell your child, hey, you probably shouldn't be moving towards these alternative homosexual lifestyles, you're vilified for it. I think that does way worse harm to the family than the fact that some fundamental Christians like myself would say if you're a homosexual, until something is done about that act and you come back to Christ, we have to create distance here. I don't see.
Don't you think that's destructive of the family unit?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think a parent saying to their child, "You're not allowed around me. You're not allowed in my house.
What if
I don't
your
want to
child's
see
stealing?
you. I don't want to talk
What if
to
your
you
child's stealing
until
from
you abandon this
What
lifestyle."
if your child's stealing from you? Are you allowed to make distance then?
I mean,
Can they live in your house and just steal from you indefinitely?
I don't
or-
think stealing is on the same level of like moral harm as loving another person that
you
happens
still
to be the
love
same
them,
gender.
but don't you understand that when you want to correct behavior, especially inside,
I don't.
And let's point
I
this.
don't
hang on.
exile them
Let's
if I
point this
want to
out,
correct
that
behavior.
it's usually-
Exile is a terrible
it's usually the
solution
shittiest
to
kids,
behavior.
It's usually the shittiest kids who make the argument that you must unconditionally love me no matter what horrible fucking thing that I do. It's usually a shitty kid who says that to their parents who do love them and want to correct them, and the kid goes, "No, I don't want to be corrected. I want to go put the pee-pee in the poo-poo, Dad."
Yeah. I think a lot of people have been turned off of Christianity in general because they have seen friends or they themselves have watched the destruction of families because they've been so intolerant of their lifestyle.
Yeah, I think the.
So wait, do you think it's more important to keep the family unified, or is it more important to reject homosexuality?
Yeah, so first of all, this is a false binary. I don't believe
There's tension here, at least, right?
Okay, I'll grant this, right? That there's tension inside of family units all the time from people who are behaving outside the scope of what normally we keep. But you know what really drives a lot of tension and makes people flock to the church, especially the traditional churches? When a bunch of homosexuals are cruising down the street in assless chaps and big gay pride parades simulating sucking each other's dicks. I would say that socially, you guys have gone out of your fucking way to make it easy for us. You've gone out of your... Hang on. Gays have gone out of their way right? The transing the kids, everything you could possibly do to make it easy for guys like me to come in and be like, no more of that shit. We're done with that shit. And for the rest of the country to be like, yep, you're right. We are done with that shit. Enough of that shit. Where the president of the United States actually has to give a presidential order saying there's only 2 genders, you guys overplayed your hand. And no, it ain't breaking up families. What's breaking up families is all the whining and crying that you can't be an assless chap simulating sex acts in the middle of the street. That's your social perversion. There's nothing wrong with us doing something about that.
I think a lot of people have moved away from the church because they have seen people that they love and that they care about have great, meaningful relationships with their parents. And they no longer have that relationship because their parents are so intolerant.
Yeah, how many is a lot?
They love. I mean, people have been inundated with story after story after story of the destruction of family units over this issue.
Yeah,
you care about families. This is destroying families.
What this is,
these are two values that are intrinsically.
This gay cope. It's called gay cope. So here's how gay cope works, right? You get a couple of anecdotal evidences of somebody.
This is hardly anecdotal.
Okay, then show me the proof that parents, by and large, the families are breaking up because their kids just have to butt fuck each other. Show me.
Do you reject that families have been destroyed over
I
this
want to
issue?
stop first. You said it's not just anecdotes. What's your actual evidence that in any way, in mass, families anywhere in the United States are breaking up because the kid just demands that you accept their degenerate lifestyle? Where?
I find this like incredible. I don't even understand. How
Yeah, that's nice. I don't care about your incredulity. I want you to respond to the argument.
You don't accept that all across America, parents have rejected and stopped talking to their children because of their religion.
Yeah, I think that assists
and on their
keeping families
religious
together.
basis, they have said, because I am Christian, I am no longer going to talk to you, child, because you are gay. You don't think that's happened in like a pretty significant amount.
It's happened.
And there's only 2% of people are gay, so
yeah.
it's not going to happen in mass because there's only 2%
it doesn't
of
happen.
people.
So then it's not breaking up families.
It's breaking up.
Come
for
on.
those 2%, it is.
Oh man, so it's not happening in
Not
mass.
only is it that 2%, it's also the
So it's
friends
not
of those
happening in
people
mass?
and the cousins
Okay, so I
of
just
those
want to be
people.
clear, it's not happening in mass, right?
It's impossible for it to happen in mass because they're a minority group.
Got it.
Well, I mean, it's going
Got
to
it.
to those 2%. It's going to happen in mass.
Okay, so within the confines of these 2%, right? Inside of these households, we'll just grant this even. Now that we've established that no, it's not really doing much to break up families. It's a small little fraction, little minority
You don't
group.
accept that families any family been broken up with it? Has one family.
Bro, I'll grant it.
10 families? 100? 1,000?
Here, I'll just grant it.
10,000?
I'll grant whatever number you want.
Yeah.
Let's just grant it.
A lot.
Inside of those families, are there more than one child? Is there more than one child?
Sometimes.
Most of the time?
But there's...
Hang on, answer the question first before you
Sure,
spark.
most of the time.
Okay, most of the time. So if that's the case, don't you think that if you have somebody who is problematic inside of a family, like, I don't know, a diddling uncle or some crazy shit like this, that
I don't
when
think a
people...
diddling uncle is
Hang
on the
on,
same level
I
as
understand you don't,
homosexuality.
but that's not the point of what I'm asking you. If it is the case that family, I don't know, turns their back on that person or removes himself from that person until that person becomes corrected, doesn't that actually help keep the family together?
No, I actually...
No? No?
I'll tell
You
you
gotta
what,
be around
I'll
the
tell you
diddling
what,
uncle?
Will you give me a chance?
Yeah, sure.
I think if my brother was gay, and we grew up... my parents are Irish Catholic.
So you have a vested interest in this?
And so... my brother was gay, and then my parents started shunning him because of his lifestyle. Not only would I turn my back on my parents, I'd also, no longer want to be associated with that religion.
That's a cool anecdote.
Because I would have watched...
That's a cool
this is
anecdote.
hypothetical, but... I would have watched the destruction. I would have watched the destruction of my family on the basis of religion from people who have, talked to me my entire life about the importance of family and sticking together, and then to watch them so easily cast aside the relationship with someone who I care deeply about. I would turn me against Christianity and the Christian faith.
Okay, so first of all, we just have to address that we all know that the hypothetical gay brother is a farce. After watching that, there is absolutely nothing that could convince me that that man is straight. His entire argument is essentially just gay cope, as Andrew said. In fact, you could reasonably make the argument that the whole entire secularist worldview is gay cope. No, Christianity does not support degeneracy. That's in the prompt. But his argument is that if a family rejects a child for some form of degeneracy, then that will automatically break up the family. But he suspiciously fails to answer the question about the diddling uncle, for example. Should they get rid of the diddling uncle? Would that break up the family and be therefore wrong? And then he contradicts himself directly by saying if his parents were to judge the brother in this way, then he would not talk to them. He would break up the family. So I guess the best thing to do, guys, is for parents to absolutely have no boundaries whatsoever. As soon as the child turns 18, they can basically do whatever they want, and the parents should just shut their mouths and support it. And the same goes throughout their entire younger years as well. Just do nothing, and I'm sure the kid will end up fine. Give me a break. And these people don't care about societal consequences. That is just cope. All they care about is maintaining their right to engage in various different forms of degeneracy. So anyways, that was something. Good to see a new crop of debaters there. Good to see some fresh meat. But I'm curious, guys, let me know in the comments who you think actually gave Andrew the hardest time. Who do you think was making the best arguments there? And who do you think was the best debater? And of course, why? So guys, don't forget to check out Black Forest Supplements. Also, get your tickets to DebateCon if you haven't already. Links will be down in the bio there. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to watch another one, right here. Next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.